Hello, and thanks for tuning in. In this review, I'm going to be taking a look at one of the most popular graphic novel adaptations of all time, and possibly the ultimate goth fantasy. And now, The Crow. The movie's about a rock star who returns from the grave 1 year after him and his fiancée are viciously murdered by gang members. He slaps on some face paint and black leather and proceeds to enact revenge on all of them. Obviously, it's impossible to talk about this film without mentioning Brandon Lee's tragic death. During a stunt gone wrong, a piece of debris that was stuck in a gun barrel fired out and struck Brandon Lee in the chest. Unfortunately, he would die before the film was finished. The filmmakers would end up using costly CGI to complete it. There's long been the argument that this film would not have been successful had this tragedy not occurred, but I don't think that's the case. The film is strong enough to stand on its own, and it checks enough required boxes to entertain a wide audience. The movie has excellent shot composition and really strong imagery. Unfortunately, everything is too damn dark. I have to crank the brightness on my TV and turn off all the lights in the room to watch this film. There would also be a number of incredibly shoddy optical effects. None of these worked in the 90s, yet filmmakers continued to attempt it. I really like the way the film is structured. Everything is shown in flashback, and it leaves it up to the audience to fill in the blanks. A couple scenes might drag here and there, but overall the film flows pretty nicely. As I mentioned, the film was an adaptation of a graphic novel, and while it doesn't keep everything exactly as it was in the book, it does nail the tone. Lee does a fantastic job in the titular role, adding a supernatural charm to the character with his physical grace. It's truly a shame he passed before his career had a chance to blow up, as he would have been a big star. The supporting cast is pretty decent as well, with Ernie Hudson and Tony Todd, and the main villain Top Dollar played by not Christopher Lambert. Speaking of the villains, they're all completely one-dimensional caricatures. I suppose you're not really here to see them though, so it's not a major issue. The action sequences in the film are extremely well done. I will say though, it is slightly uncomfortable seeing how many times Lee's character is shot in the film. There would also be some elements of dark humor, but I would hardly classify this movie as a comedy. The film would feature music by bands such as 9 Inch Nails, Stone Temple Pilots, and The Cure, and while it's definitely not my thing, it does fit the movie well. The movie's ending does feel like typical action movie nonsense. I'm not too big on the last 20 minutes. Fun fact, at one point in time the film was going to be a musical and was going to star Michael Jackson. I think we're all thankful that never happened. Also, the film doesn't feature any actual crows. All the birds used were ravens. The Crow is a movie that it's hard to criticize given the unfortunate events surrounding its production. There are elements that feel unfinished, but overall it's a completely satisfying movie that everyone should experience at least once. Just be sure to avoid all the sequels. Go ahead and give it a watch.